If you're chasing supplements, superfoods, or the latest hormone biohack, but you're sleeping 5 hours of night and running on stress and coffee, you're building your hormone health on quicksand. Let me flip the script and talk about what actually matters first today on Hormone Happy Hour. So, I have come up with a hormone hierarchy to share with you. And why I like this hierarchy is because it is a very nice visual, but it shows you too where people put the most stock, which is typically the top of this pyramid, and the least stock. So, if you do not have these building blocks at the bottom, your foundation is very, very weak with your hormone health. And it's going to be a struggle for you to feel good in your skin while reversing and managing your hormonal symptoms. So let's start at the bottom with the biggest foundation, sleep and stress management. This one is the most important because if you are not getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you absolutely are setting yourself up for failure. With sleep, when we are sleeping, it is giving our body time to repair, to recover, to rebuild. So when we are cutting that short, it is actually cutting our recovery short. It's not allowing our brain to dump out everything from the day and to replenish itself, or our body to repair from whatever the day happens to bring to it, whether that's a workout or just normal everyday movement and stress. With the stress portion, if we are not managing our stress, if we have unmanaged stress, it is just going to build up our cortisol and we're going to really struggle with feeling good in our skin. High cortisol is also linked to digestive issues, thyroid issues, period issues, reproduction issues, pregnancy issues, etc. So if you have unmanaged stress, it is a good time to really focus on sleep and stress first. Without these, nothing else in the pyramid is going to matter. And when I talk about stress management, that is going to look different for everybody. So for me, I cannot sit down and do breath work. It is really hard for me to meditate. However, something that works for me is listening to some of my favorite music, heading outside, touching the ground with my feet, sitting in the sun. Things like that really help with my stress management. For some people, meditation, breath work, journaling really works for them as well. Just a reminder, working out is not stress management. The next step on our pyramid is hydration and electrolytes. So most people are actually very, very dehydrated, which causes other issues. Hormonal imbalances, it causes a slower GI system, it causes funky blood work. So when we are dehydrated, nothing good is going to happen. So instead of just having water, which ideally you are having about half your body weight in ounces of water per day, a little bit more if you are working out, a little bit more if you are a more sweaty person, or if you live in high altitude like I do in Denver. But we don't just want to have water, we also want to include electrolytes. Electrolytes have your magnesium, sodium, and potassium. And what helps with the electrolytes is your water is not just running straight through you. The electrolytes are giving it something sticky to hang on to so that it can replenish everything in your system. The next tier up on our pyramid is protein and fiber. Most people understand by now the importance of protein. It's important to prioritize having 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight pound. So if you want to weigh, let's say you weigh 200 pounds and that's your ideal weight, you would still want about 200 grams of protein per day to support that body, to support the muscle mass, the functions, etc. As well as your hormone health. We need protein to help with our hormone health, hormone creation, and recovery in our body. However, most people get the fiber all wrong. They prioritize the protein. They prioritize the if it fits your macros. But what about the fiber? We also want a really good, squeaky clean digestive system, and the fiber is really going to help with that. So having 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day for women, plus your ideal amount of protein, which again could be different for everyone and is up to your preferences, is going to help support your hormone health and your body. If you are not getting this, anything towards the top of your pyramid is not going to matter. With the fiber, a good thing to remember is you can get fiber obviously through fruits and vegetables. However, it is going to be really hard to get 25 grams of fiber in just that. So making sure that you are getting things like oats, rice, beans, potatoes, etc., to help boost up your fiber as well, will easily get you to your fiber goal. Fiber is also important because if we are not going regularly, then we are just kind of having our waste sit in our body. And again, I know this is very gross, but that waste is sitting into our body and will be reabsorbed by our body into our system. And this is something that does cause an estrogen dominance in our body. This doesn't necessarily mean that estrogen is going to show up on your blood work being out of control or super high, but it will be an imbalance with your progesterone, and that can lead to other things like more painful periods, heavier periods, breast tenderness, even illness if you do have an imbalance of estrogen in your body compared to your progesterone. After our protein and fiber, we head into our movement in our pyramid. So, movement is very, very important, but where most people get this wrong is there is not one type of movement we have to do. Ideally, for women, we are incorporating some type of strength training because our muscle mass does decrease as we get older. And so we want to build strong, beautiful muscle. We want to support our bone health, our bone density as well. And we can do that through strength training. So it is important to get some type of strength training. However, if you enjoy other types of movement, please also incorporate those because it is so important that you enjoy what you do and you love how you move. Another piece of the movement, especially in the areas that I coach in, is more of like a cycle syncing. And if you have been around here for a while or not, you know that cycle syncing looks a little bit different in my world than the classic cycle syncing where in your follicular phase, you're able to lift weights and run and do all of the things. And then once you hit your luteal phase, you absolutely can't do anything except for yoga and walking. I do not believe that. If you have goals to get stronger and faster, I want you to be doing what you love to do that supports your goals throughout your whole cycle. It is just about how you are adjusting it according to your energy levels and your recovery throughout your cycle as well. So cycle syncing does not need to fit in one box. It can look different for everyone. We are just looking at your energy levels, how your body is responding, where you need more rest, how you can adjust that volume throughout your whole cycle. And by doing this, it is actually improving your hormones because in our late luteal phase, if we are super run down but still trying to push through workouts, it's actually causing our cortisol to spike and everything just starts feeling really depleted. You'll have worse periods. You may have some acne issues. You'll have trouble sleeping. You're going to have a hard time seeing results, whether that is gaining muscle or losing weight. So making sure that we are listening to our body in movement and how we need to adjust that. And now we start getting closer to the top of the pyramid where more people are putting more of their focus and stock into everything, thinking these are the more important pieces for your hormone health, for even your weight loss, muscle gain, any type of health journey. These are still really important pieces, but without these other building blocks of the pyramid, these ones don't matter as much. Supplementation is one of the hot topics, one of the most asked things that I get. What would you supplement for your period health? What would you supplement if you have bad cramps? What would you supplement if you're feeling really tired? What would you supplement to lose more weight or gain more muscle? I get these questions all the time. Or what do you think of this supplement? What about this supplement? Does it actually work? And a lot of times, yes, supplementation is really important, especially when we have deficiencies. But again, if nothing else in this pyramid is working, if we are not getting sleep, if we're not managing our stress, if we're not getting the protein and the fiber or the movement, the supplementation doesn't really matter. So when we talk about supplementation, first things first, I think it is really important to focus on deficiencies. To do this, you need to go get blood work from your doctor and see what is going on underneath the hood. If there is something going on, if you're deficient in, let's say, vitamin D, supplementing with vitamin D is important. If you are deficient in magnesium, supplementing with magnesium is important. Another thing that I recommend for everyone, just because the quality of our food, the quality of our soil, etc., has decreased over the years, is having a multivitamin. That cannot hurt at all to include a multivitamin to help make up for the vitamins and minerals that are maybe not so much in our diet as much as they were years and years ago. because the quality of food, our soil has decreased. After looking at the deficiencies in just your basic supplementation, that's when we get very specialized with supplements. And this is going to be person dependent. So, for example, if you're having symptoms and everything else in your pyramid is a work in progress or starting to really come together, but these symptoms are still hanging on, that's when we look at these specialty supplements. This could be something like, hey, I have a hard time sleeping before my period and I have really bad period cramps. Perfect. Can we start doing a magnesium to help? Or it could be you're wanting to improve your inflammation. Can we start doing fish oil to help? So we can get very, very strategic around supplementation for your specific goals, symptoms, and routine. A lot of these supplements don't need to be taken 24/7, 365. What we really need to focus on is having a supplement plan, that there is a plan for how long you're taking it. And then after the fact, you can move on with your life because you're not going to be on 10,000 supplements every single day. So I like to think of supplementation. Some of them will be longer term. Like it can't hurt you to do a multivitamin every single day. But some of these supplements, what we really want to do is alleviate this symptom and make sure that we have a plan in place so you don't have to be on a million supplements for the rest of your life. Plus, a lot of times supplements seem really sexy, but they are kind of just a waste of money because you don't actually need them. And finally, at the very tip of your hormone hierarchy pyramid is any of the biohacking trends. So these could be things that are just, they do help, they do push the needle, but they're not going to be that one thing that really helps push everything to make you feel 100% better. So, right now, one of the examples I would have is a lot of like the infrared saunas or the infrared face thing. They're great. I love them. However, they're not the one thing that is going to improve all of your hormonal symptoms and make you feel amazing in your skin, help you lose weight, help you gain muscle. IVs, we had an IV moment there for a long time. I love IVs. I think they're important. They actually do help with hydration, etc. Again, not the one thing that's going to like push everything in the right direction. Lately, hot and cold therapies, so doing like the ice baths into the sauna, that's been something. This is shown to help women, especially with their hot flashes, but again, it's not the one thing that's going to push everything in the right direction. So these biohacks, they're amazing. Of course, I fall for the trends all the time. They do come and go though, but without everything else below them, they're not going to do too much. They might make you feel good in the moment. You might see some benefit, but without everything else, you're not actually improving anything long term underneath the surface. So, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, most people do start at the top with the biohacks and the supplements and wanting to use those or overuse those to feel better in their skin. But what you're likely missing out on is something at the bottom that is more of a building block and will do more bang for its buck. So if you are only sleeping 5 hours and surviving off of caffeine, it is going to be very, very hard to feel good in your skin, to lose weight, to gain muscle. If you're not getting enough to eat, if you're not getting enough protein and fiber, it is going to be very, very hard to build the hormones, to have a good digestive system, to feel good in your skin and have supported hormones. If you're not hydrated, good luck. Just good luck. Hydration and electrolytes are key to keeping everything moving, to keeping your body feeling satiated. If you're not doing some type of exercise that you enjoy, again, it's going to be very, very difficult to feel good in your skin, to lose the weight, to build the muscle. It can be done, but I still recommend working out and using movement to your advantage for your hormones. And then if we are using every single supplement that is just trendy and sexy because it looks good or it worked for somebody else, and we're not being very, very specific of the supplement that is for us, our specific symptoms, our deficiencies, etc., again, you're just hopping on the next trend, the next fad, the next thing, and not really knowing why you're taking it. And you're likely just wasting a lot of time and money on things you don't actually need. So I'd love to hear from you. Where on the hormone hierarchy are you currently struggling? What needs a little bit of TLC? What do you need to work on? Let me know in the comments. And that is all I have for you on Hormone Happy Hour. Cheers.